6 months. That's exactly how long it took for this New Jersey wedding planner to go from an empty inbox to consistent leads. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how we were able to do this for her. I'm Jodianne Rowe, founder of the EC Marketing Agency, and I work with service-based businesses to help them get found online through organic search. I'm talking no paid ads, no viral videos, just simple strategies that you can do that continues to work even when you're not actively marketing. I've walked this journey with clients who were doing absolutely everything right in their business, and they feel like they were trying all the different strategies they were learning, but nothing was working. And that's because some of the strategies were not the best fit for their business, or it was just not the best strategy for the place in which they were marketing. I'm also going to share something that I didn't see coming 6 months into this particular client's marketing strategy that took us all by surprise and changed a lot for her business in a good way. But I'll get to that. First, let's just dive right into the strategy. So this client is a wedding planner, and when she came to me, I'll be honest, a lot of her business was already set up. That's where I meet a lot of my clients. She already had a Google business profile that was up and active. She already had her website with content up. And one of the things though that I actually noticed, one, her Google business profile was up, but it was not optimized. Two, her website was not getting a ton of traffic. And when I looked into it, I found out that she was actually on the GoDaddy website platform. Now, I will die on this hill, but if you are on GoDaddy, meaning you have a website on GoDaddy, move platforms. It is not the best platform for your business. I can guarantee you that. I have never worked with a client who was able to get ranked on GoDaddy. In fact, I don't even try. So one of the things that I actually did was when she came to me and I realized the platform she was on, I told her I couldn't work with her. I needed her to move platforms before I could do anything, because the way that GoDaddy is actually set up, it's meant to make revenue for GoDaddy, not for your business. What GoDaddy does is that, yes, you have a website on their platform, and yes, you have access to be able to edit a couple tools in the back end, but it is really not the full extent of what you need access to make an impact on your SEO. And what they do though through GoDaddy is what they then do is they try to sell you on hiring one of their SEO specialists or agents to do the work for you. Yeah, it's revenue for GoDaddy. If you're on your platform, get off. So that was one of the first things that I actually told her to do. I said, once you're off the platform, we can work together. And she did. She went and moved platforms to Wix and then came back and we started working together. Now, one thing too that I noticed is that when we started doing research into her business, she was showing up a lot for her own business name. But if you know anything about search and traffic and how customers find you, this is not your moneymaker. If someone already knows your business or your brand, that's already a lead. That's already someone who's connected with you and they're just researching your business. What you want to be showing up for are strangers. You want people who know nothing about you, who don't even know your business name, and who's just looking for a service or looking for some sort of support to find you. And that's where the real money makers start coming in. So the first thing we actually started to fix was her Google business profile. And when we fix someone's Google business profile, what I mean by that is that we go in and we clean up everything, meaning we do research to find out what are the best keywords that we would like your business to show up for, that your potential clients are looking for, and we incorporate those very intentionally throughout your Google business profile in all the different areas, meaning your description, meaning your categories, your service descriptions, all of it is incorporated. So we went in and we cleaned up her Google business profile description. We optimized and changed up her categories. For example, she was a wedding planner, so ensuring that her primary category was wedding planner, that her secondary categories were also related to that: event planner, party planner, wedding service, anything on a related feel. We also changed up her service descriptions, because one of the things I find that a lot of our clients do is they go into Google and Google will preload a lot of descriptions based on the category that you selected. And my recommendation is to select every single one Google has preloaded that is relevant to your business. The thing about this though is that you do also have to Be a little strategic here, because even if it's relevant to your business, if it's not linked or mentioned on your website, sometimes Google won't show your profile for it because it does check. So if, for example, a part of your work as a wedding planner is you do venue scouting, but you're not actually marketing yourself for venue scouting, or it's not listed on your website, and you're not actively trying to find clients for that, it's just a part of the service when they hire you, listing it on your Google business profile might not necessarily have the impact that you think it will. As opposed to if, for example, you market specifically for doing bachelorette parties, and this is a service that you offer standalone, and it's linked and mentioned on your website, add it to your service description. So those are the type of things that we clean up. We also clean up your products and packages to make sure that they correspond to everything on your website. The next step is your photos. Clean up your Google Business Profile photos. When we go to this client's site, one of the things that we noticed was that she had old photos that she never went back and updated. Now, if you're in a creative space, you know what I mean. Your photos from 8 years ago does not represent your business today. And if your brand has changed, how you want people to feel about your brand when they interacted with it has changed, you do need to go in and update those. If you're a photographer or wedding planner, the work that you did 8 years ago looks nothing like what you're presenting today, but those photos are still showing up on Google. And the thing about Google Business Profile is when it shows those photos to a potential lead, it doesn't put them in any particular order. Sometimes they are random. So someone could just be seeing your work from 8 years ago that looks nothing like what you want to show them today. Remove those photos if they no longer represent your work and brand, and make sure you're building up your portfolio with the photos that you want people to find. And if you look around and you notice that your competitors have more photos than you, it's time to beef up your photos. My goal, my meter for this client is we needed her to be at a minimum of 50 photos, because most competitors in the space were also above that. Now, from doing some of these small changes, actually they're big changes, what we noticed that her profile visibility increased by 240%. Yes, this is a big number, but it meant that she was now showing up in more places and for more terms, such as Nigerian wedding planner in New Jersey or wedding planner near me. And she was showing up for a lot more of these very intentionally. Now, step 2, we focused on SEO content. One of the things that our research identified was that there was actually a gap in her area with a very popular wedding venue. There is a venue that a ton of couples were searching. The venue itself did not have a ton of content related to some of the questions the couples were searching, and not a lot of other wedding planners had content on it either. So this was a huge opportunity that we identified and took advantage of. One of the things we did was we started creating content on her site specifically targeting this venue and including questions and answers to the questions that a lot of couples had about this venue. And just from doing that, we were able to get her in the position number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 spot for this particular venue. Whenever you search their name, she was showing up after the venue for most of page 1. And this is amazing because it was such a highly searched venue. People were asking very specific questions and we got her there. But that's just one piece of the pie. Getting her to show up is one thing, but when people click through to the content, the other thing that we focus on when we get to your site is conversion. So we do a lot of the SEO content, like adding those blog posts, identifying gaps, cleaning up your website content, which we did across her site. But once people get to the content, we need them to actually identify you as a potential solution. So here's how we did that. One of the first things we do is when we write content on your site, we're making it clear. For example, in a blog content that is coming from a search, we want people to land there and not just take the information they're looking for and leave. We want them to identify that they're in the right place, that they're about to get their question answered, but that the person that provided it might be the solution to what they need. So we want them to read and go, if they know all of this, I wonder if this company's able to help me answer another question or X or Y. That's what we want to happen. If they are feeling lost, if they have questions, challenges, and they're just bouncing from website to website, we want them to feel like they found one resource that can help them answer everything. So we put a lot of conversion optimized content together in that way. So that includes adding calls to action, making sure that if there's something specific we know they're looking for, that it's included. If they want to know the cost for the venue, we'll include the cost, but we don't stop there. We include the cost, but we also let them know, if you want to see what this cost looks like for your specific event, then just contact us. We'll help you work through a budget. Here's how to get in touch. So you have to include all those triggers, because that's how you turn traffic into lead. Now, we did this in so many different pieces across her site, and some of these searches, keep in mind that some of these searches are getting like 480 or more searches every month. And if she's in the top position, she's getting a ton of traffic from this. So this became one of her top traffic drivers, in addition to being able to show up locally on the map from optimizing her Google business profile. This is where you want to be. And from making all of these changes, of course, one of the things that start to happen is her website traffic starts to climb. Now, for me, website traffic climbing is a good indicator that we're doing something well. She started moving her from 400 to 700 to 900 to over 1,000, and that's how it just progressed from month to month. And I'm talking real people, real leads, people with real budget looking to hire someone, and most of them were finding her on Google. But here's where it actually got interesting, because Google was just the beginning. Something else happened that was unexpected. Now, one of the things our agency does is we also include Reddit marketing. This is where we do a deep dive into Reddit to just find people who are like your target clients, and just pay attention to the questions they're asking, what they're commenting, or the things that they're struggling with, and we join those conversations. My team and I become a part of the conversation, and if there's opportunities where we see that there's an opening where our client is a good fit, we'll also recommend them if it's a fit. And just from doing that, it also builds brand awareness for our clients, because one mention leads to people asking questions, it leads to shares, it leads to engagement. And before you know it, one comment on Reddit that mentions your brand can lead to even more impact later on. Because one of the things that came from this is our client actually started getting recommended by ChatGPT. She had someone who reached out to work with her, and the client said, I found you on ChatGPT. For us, this is a big win, because we're not actively obviously in ChatGPT, but being able to get her picked up by LLMs just doing other marketing, that's the kind of impact it has when you're marketing and building your visibility over time. Here's the part though that even surprised me. So my client is a Nigerian wedding planner, and one of the things that we did when we were marketing her business, that we focused mainly on Nigerian weddings. That was her niche. She was looking to do Nigerian multicultural type weddings, very large 400 plus people weddings, multi-day events. That was her niche, and we went hard on it. But one of the things that starts happening is that she actually started getting clients from other places. So even though we weren't targeting other cultures, we started getting clients from other spaces. So she got a Ghanaian bride reaching out, and she also was getting clients also looking for a Nigerian wedding planner, but from a different state reaching out. So those are the kind of impact you have when you focus on your niche, because sometimes just marketing in the right places to the right people will attract people who are also right for you, but you might not even have realized. That's the importance of marketing. I share this story because it mirrors what I see a lot of service business owners going through, in that they care deeply, they're working hard, they're marketing their business to the best of their ability, but they're not quite seeing the results. And I get it. A lot of the times they might just be building on the wrong platforms, or they're building with strategies that are not effective for their business. And that's the thing about search. Search actually compounds. that blog post does not disappear in 24 hours, or adding a frequently asked questions page to your website is not going to disappear and get lost in a feed after 24, 48 hours. That's the difference. Search compounds in a way that eventually it starts working even when you're not involved. And that's one of the best places to be when you're short on time or if you don't have a huge team. For this client, it wasn't about going viral. She actually never went viral the entire time we were working together. She didn't run a single ad. She wasn't posting every single day and burning herself out. She built a system. Actually, we built a system for her, and that system brought her consistent leads. It brought her new markets. The confidence that comes from knowing that your business is actually findable, that something is finally working. Because when you don't have that, you start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt your business. You start to doubt if you should be doing this. Imagine being able to get rid of that and to just build the confidence that you're in the right place, doing the right thing, and serving the right people. Now, if you're a service-based business and you're tired of being invisible online, that's what the EC Marketing Agency does. Reach out to me. I promise you, you can book a free audit where I can look through your business and see where you're leaking leads, or you can just book a discovery call with me to learn more about our services and if it's the right fit for you. I'll drop all the links down below in the description. And if you learned anything from this video, definitely hit that subscribe button because there'll be more videos like this one week after week. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful day.